takes it in overtime. Brady Tkachuk, breakaway shoots, scores!
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon and I am your host tonight. Ottawa took on the Pittsburgh Penguins. But before we get into the game recap, I just want to mention this. Thank you to everyone that nominated us for 3 separate categories at this year's 2023 Ottawa Faces Magazine Awards. We're up for Best Blog, Best Sports Podcast, and Best YouTube Channel. If you want to vote for us, I'll put the link to that in the description below and in the comments section. I really appreciate your support. Now let's get into today's game recap. So for tonight's game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, Ottawa gets a massive reinforcement to their top 6. Noof! Josh Norris is back. After a 35-plus game absence, he hasn't played since October with that shoulder injury. He returns to the lineup with Claude Giroux and Alex DeBrincat on the second line. This is huge for Ottawa's top 6 and Ottawa's power play, both of which have not been great as of late. And once again, Ottawa does not want Josh Norris taking all the faceoffs, so Claude Giroux on his wing will be huge because, of course, Claude Giroux can win many faceoffs. He's one of the best centermen in the National Hockey League, so that will take some pressure off of Josh Norris, especially when you're facing off against guys like Malkin and Crosby tonight. And as well, having DeBrincat on your wing is huge. Josh Norris hasn't played in 35-plus games. You want to get this guy going early, and Alex DeBrincat is the right guy to get you going early because DeBrincat is such a dynamic playmaker and sniper. So I like that second line. And for the power play, he was on the second power play unit with Claude Giroux, Broussard, Pinto, and Jake Sanderson. Now, another move, which was really interesting, I want to mention this really quickly. Last night, Mathieu Joseph was taken off the injured reserve. He hasn't played in like 5 weeks, and it was expected he would play into tonight's game. Now, that would have been huge because Pittsburgh has Mathieu Joseph's brother. The Joseph family had 40 to 50 friends and family in the crowd. It would have been a big deal, just like Tkachuk versus Tkachuk. It would have been Joseph versus Joseph tonight. Unfortunately, he was a healthy scratch. DJ Smith said that Mathieu Joseph was a healthy scratch and did not want to elaborate further than that. Now, it's been speculated on Twitter that the move was made purely because of a team misconduct violation. Now, this is just speculation, but when guys like Ian Mendes are saying it out loud on Twitter, I'm going to believe that there's some truth to this speculation. So because of that, once again, I think it's the right move. If somebody breaks a rule, he should be punished for it. Obviously, it sucks that he doesn't get to play in front of his friends, family, and against his brother, but it is what it is. You break a rule, you got to pay the punishment for that. So it is what it is. Hopefully we get more on that soon. And hopefully Joseph gets back into the lineup soon as well. It's been over a month. We just gave this guy a 4-year contract extension. He's a great player. I'd love to see him back in the lineup very soon. So let's head to the first period of play. And right away, Cam Talbot is being challenged. Early on, he makes a good stop on a slap shot, pass shot from Evgeny Malkin. But moments later, another tough one here for Cam Talbot. Terrible glove control by Talbot gives the Pens the 1-0 lead. It's another costly goal from Cam Talbot that frankly should have been avoided. A costly one gives the Penguins a 1-0 lead. But moments later, doesn't matter. The cat, meow, on the power play. Alex DeBrincat snipes his 15th. And Ottawa strikes right back. We are tied. It's 1-1. Moments later, it's a double minor power play. So Ottawa remains on the power play. Tim Stützle along the blue line. Dekes out. Sid the Kid. Sidney Crosby, the future Hall of Famer, one of the best players in NHL history. He dekes him out along the blue line, and he snipes it for the power play. Highlight reel goal. Moments later, they make it 2-1 Ottawa. That is back-to-back 20-plus goal seasons for Tim Stützle. He's not even 22 years old. He just turned 21. This kid is only going to get better, and an incredible goal here for Tim Stützle gives Ottawa the lead. It's 2-1. By the way, Stützle almost played 27 minutes tonight. Yeah, he almost played 27 minutes tonight. Played over 3 minutes on the penalty kill. Tim Stützle is not only a hell of an offensive player, he's a great defensive player too. He's a premier two-way center in the National Hockey League, and he's easily the best player from the 2020 draft. Who's the second best player from that draft? Jake Sanderson. Ottawa ran away with a home run in that 2020 draft with Tim Stützle and Jake Sanderson. But regardless from that, an incredible effort here from Tim Stützle, and suddenly Ottawa leads 2-1. But unfortunately, Ottawa takes back-to-back penalties, both on Evgeny Malkin. The first one in the corner, Josh Norris. Okay, I guess that's a penalty. The second one, he clearly dives, and unfortunately, you know how this is going to go. He scores on the power play. It's 2-2, and we go to the second period of play with a 2-2 score, and the fans in Ottawa did not like that. They were booing Malkin heavily. But after 20 minutes of play, we find ourselves tied with the Penguins at 2 apiece. To the second period we go, and Freeman on the power play beats Talbot, and Jeez, Louise, Cam Talbot, my man. You got to make some stops here. Another terrible one on Cam Talbot. It tips off his glove and in again. And the Penguins lead by a goal. It's 3-2. 4 minutes into the second period of play. Just a rough one here for Cam Talbot. What happened? I mean, what happened? In the last 6 games, he has like an .850 save percentage. What happened to Cam Talbot? I don't understand it. Last year, All-Star, fantastic numbers. For most of the season this year, has looked great, but the last 6 games, he's fallen off a cliff. But it doesn't matter. 7 minutes later, Tom Chabot on the power play with a big shot from the point. It goes to Tkachuk, as it deflects to him anyways. He puts a nice, unreal, incredible backhand pass in tight right to Drake Batherson's stick. No doubt about it. 3-3 game on the power play. What a feed there from the captain, Brady Tkachuk, to Drake Batherson. His 12th power play goal of the year makes it a 3-3 tie game, baby. What a pass from the captain. And Ottawa's power play was really clicking tonight. I mean, really clicking. And on this power play especially, the puck was really being moved around quite well. Ottawa's power play looked great tonight, and I don't think that's a surprise with the addition of Josh Norris to Ottawa's lineup. So let's go to the third period of play, and 11 minutes in, the captain, Brady Tkachuk, looking for his third point of the night along the boards here, is a nice pass to Shane Pinto, who's driving through the middle. He's looking for his first goal in 14 games, and he gets it here on the power play. Snipes it past to Smith, and Ottawa leads again. It's 4-3 Senators. That is Shane Pinto's first goal in 14 games. Monkey off the back indeed for Pinner. That is a huge goal for a rookie to not score in 14 straight games. I cannot even imagine what that does for a player's confidence. This certainly will give him some confidence right back. Huge goal for Ottawa and for Shane Pinto. It's 4-3 Senators. And by the way, this is the first time Ottawa has scored more than 3 power play goals in a game since against the Toronto Maple Leafs back in 2005 when they scored 6. So really a hell of a game here for Ottawa on the special teams. But unfortunately, 2 minutes later, oh boy, Cam Talbot, my man. Ricard Raquel ties it off a bouncing puck as he corrals and fires it past Talbot. Look, not the weakest goal in Cam Talbot, but certainly you want to save here and there. This is one of those where you're hoping Cam Talbot can step up and make a big stop to keep you in the lead. He doesn't. Another weak one. 4-4 game. After that, both teams would trade power play chances, but of course no one would score. So we head to overtime, and in overtime, it didn't last long. 25 seconds in, Brady Tkachuk receives a drop pass from Tim Stützle, and he makes no mistake. Senators win because, of course, it's Brady Tkachuk with the game-winning goal. Ottawa's captain always gets it done. Captain Clutch gets it done again with the OTGWG. Ottawa wins 5-4 in overtime, in a game where Ottawa looked to be slipping away with yet another collapse. Sens win 5-4 in overtime, and guess what? As I just said, it always seems like Brady Tkachuk wins it in overtime for Ottawa. There's actually some truth to that. That's his 6th OTGWG in a Senators uniform. And of course, in his entire NHL career. He is 1 away from tying Mike Fisher for most in Sens history with 7. So the captain is most clutch player potentially in Senator franchise history. And, you know, I might catch some heat for that, but let's be honest. There's no metric better to determine who's clutch and who's not than OTGWGs, and Brady Tkachuk has plenty of them. So a hell of a game here for Tkachuk, a 4-point game, and he wins it in overtime. And a game that, frankly, was basically a sellout, and the crowd was really into it, but a really fun game. Once again, not the best defensively, not the best in terms of goaltending, but in terms of offense, this one had everything. Now, some game notes. Ottawa, the power play was clicking tonight, 4 for 10. Up until the overtime winner from Brady Tkachuk, Ottawa's power play did all the scoring for the Senators tonight. They did not score any even-strength goals, of course, up until that overtime winner. So Ottawa's power play was really clicking tonight, and 10 power play opportunities. You will not see that every single night. A couple of questionable calls for both teams, of course. And Ottawa just got luckier with the calls. So it's a rare opportunity here for Ottawa, and they took full advantage. 10 power play chances, scoring on 4. It's nearly 50%. Almost half of them went in for Ottawa. So great performance there for the power play. On the other side of great performances is a bad performance from Cam Talbot. Just another bad game. A few garbage goals, frankly, for Cam Talbot. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, .850 save percentage or so in his last 6 games. He does not look like the Cam Talbot that we've known and loved this season. Maybe he's dealing with a minor injury, but Anton Forsberg has to get the next start in Friday's matchup against the Penguins. I do not care that Talbot won this game. He frankly is the reason Ottawa had to win it in overtime. So Forsberg should start that game, give Talbot some rest, and hopefully let him work out whatever issue he has right now, because he's not working right now. He's not playing well, and he's frankly costing the team in many ways. Now, going back to some positives, Jacob Bernard-Docker once again tonight looked fantastic defensively, and I say keep him with Tom Chabot long term. Once again, you don't have to trade for a defenseman if you have internal options. JBD is an internal option. Lassie Thompson, when healthy, is an internal option. And JBD has looked great defensively here in the National Hockey League. I say keep him with Tom Chabot. Tom Chabot looked great again tonight, offensively as well. And when Zub returns, keep JBD on the first pairing and drop Zub to the second pairing with Sanderson. That top four is set. The problem is solved. You don't have to trade for a Matt Dumba or a Joel Edmondson or whatever. Your top four is set. Move Hamnick down with Brandstrom, and your top six is looking good. Your top six in the forward core is looking good, and your top six for your defenses as well looking good. So I'm really impressed with how JBD has looked in his short stint again with Ottawa in this season. And once again, I don't think Ottawa has to make a trade, especially where they're at in the standings right now. Go with what you got, especially a guy like JBD. For God's sake, he was drafted in 2018 in the first round. If he's not an NHL player by now, he's never going to be an NHL player. So give the guy a chance, and I'm glad that they're finally doing so. Now, besides that, like I already mentioned, the next Senators game is on Friday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So besides that, I appreciate your support. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.